You there? Alright, good morning and welcome in for collective tarot cards. Collective readings. I've got Alice in Wonderland decks with me. I've got a tarot deck and an oracle deck. I'm just going to go into my morning meditation space with coffee and tea and whatever nonsense I'm going to pull out of my notebook. So give me a second to reground myself and orient myself into this space. I guess to catch you up with where my headspace is at this morning, going down this rabbit hole. I've been exploring energetics this morning. Where do I have it in my notes? Energy transformation, because transformation is on my mind, and working through this transformation guide and going through these transformations, going through my own reflections in the transformative state in this transformative process, trying to discern and discuss what these aspects are. I don't know, we're picking and choosing from all of those parts and pieces. I guess as far as what to share. Okay, so energy transformation, voltage, current, through Alice in Wonderland deck. I don't know why I feel so, is it nervousness, anxiousness, anticipation, self-consciousness. Well, I guess it's self-consciousness. Let's talk about self-consciousness and transformation, or how self-consciousness changes or adjusts through transformation, through that transformative process, as that self is represented through energetics. Energetics, let's talk about the self as the body. The body is the conductor within the matrix, which is the box that houses all the energy. So we as the conductors can tap into that energy with the conductive nature of the body, right? So the consciousness is what? Transferring, trying to make sense or understanding, or somehow like a valve maybe to this emotional energetic current release system. Wow, there's a lot to unpack here, and we're just gonna get kind of heavy in it. I don't want to get too heavy in it, but maybe direct voltage, alternating voltage, direct current, alternating courage, courage, alternating courage. Interesting. So if there's something direct and there's something alternating, we're talking about directions where things stay consistent and the same over time, and the alternating aspects of that are things moving either on the realm of energetics, that pressure changes, or the direction of that energetic current changes. So is it just flowing in one direction forever, right? And then where do we exist within this energetic current? The body, the conductor being the conduit, right, to direct, control, maneuver, manage, channel, I don't know, access, however you want to interpolate wants to come through, but interpret that. Percolation. Interpret the percolation. I have more notes over here. No, let's not go into notes. Let's just go into cards. I haven't done this for a while on the Facebooks, and I'm just doing it just because I'm called to do it this morning. Everything just says jump in and do it. Thought about doing it yesterday, but was not given the okay, go ahead permissions. Was not guided to do so yesterday, but this morning it's loud and clear. So curiosity meets opportunity, following the right rabbit. Let's see, and it's number 3 in here too. There's a lot to disseminate, so hopefully within my own transformation. Some of this is there, will kind of make sense out of that. There's a shift, an energetic shift. I already pulled the cards before I jumped on. I sat here for maybe a good half hour, 45 minutes or so. So let me tell you what they all are. They follow the white rabbit, falling. I wonder what will happen next. Use your time well, and then changed in the night. And so if we're going through the alternating current of the energetics here to kind of, it feels like we're sifting the energy, right? We're trying to dredge almost, or like sift, find, uncover the gold, the missing pieces. But the changed in the night part feels very resonant here, and not necessarily for the first time, but again, like these quick changes keep happening, in going down these rabbit holes or through these realms of self-consciousness, transformation of the self-consciousness, or what is self-consciousness through transformation. I think that all kind of pulls together. These reflections lead themselves or lend themselves to these quick changes. Are they expected? No, not always. Are they anticipated? Maybe. What are the other cards in here? Did I leave it open? Did I leave it out? Oh, I did not, because it came out yesterday too. I must have put it back in the deck. It's like, dang it. I guess it's not necessarily relevant. There's a key piece of information in there, I think, is the point that I'm trying to make, or the point that I'm trying to get at, where I don't know, sometimes these sudden shifts or changes just happen. How do we want to go about telling this story? Maybe through the quotes. So if we're following the white rabbit, bear with me here. Some parallels, perhaps, or ironic synchronicities, metaphors, whatever. Chinese astrology. I am the rabbit. A fire rabbit, I believe. So we're gonna go burning down this, down through this hole, and we're just gonna kind of address all of it at once. But there's that like phoenix in energy, or just like a quick rip off the band-aid kind of a feel here too. So I think depending on when you listen to this, or kind of like the context in which you absorb this, you're going to be more receptive to certain parts and pieces of information. So I'm just curious to know. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm not sure if anybody's going to jump in here, but that's okay. If for whatever reason somebody does, please comment. I'm not really watching, kind of. Okay, let's just tell the story. But when the rabbit actually took a watch out of his waistcoat pocket and looked at it, and then hurried on, Alice started to her feet, for it flashed across her mind that she had never before seen a rabbit with either a waistcoat pocket or a watch to take out of it. And burning with curiosity, she ran across the field after it, and was just in time to see it pop down a large rabbit hole under the hedge. And then just something here about the matrix, or that box, or that energetic box, in the context of relationships, or just connections, energetic connections with other conductors. If people aren't familiar with things, or if something is new, or if things are strange, or if things are unpredictable and uncertain, and you don't have anything to ground and orient yourself to, So I want to find that other card because they talk about anger. They talk about, but I think as far as this relates, because it's not anger, it's just that emotional charge and that emotional intensity that'll build, right? That pressure, having to be patient or forcing that patience with those certain emotions to grasp and hold on to what that energetic current is. It's like current, currency, volts, voltage. What is this? Like a combination of pressure and motion? Pressure, emotional pressures. Something to dive into there as far as transformation, because things become very different. Here's this piece of information, maybe as far as uncertainty goes, because with yesterday came uncertainty, and today comes I wonder what will happen next. But that shows up after this falling aspect. Let's talk about falling first, and then we'll come to that uncertainty place. Because why are we uncertain, or why are we wondering what will happen next? Why is there this discomfort in this transformative space? Inside the conductor, if we're noticing the energetic flow, that conduit, that pressure inside of that body container, inside of that conductor, the unknown, descent, momentum, change, right? That's kind of the core in which that transformation, that transformer, energetic transformers can happen. We, as the conduit, that conductor, can transform and change energies, and it's like, well, how? The falling aspect is there to get us into this space of the unknown. Descent, momentum, change, it is change. Like a free fall. Free fall. Where there's no control. Okay, so that is that aspect where that body and that matrix kind of come into that present time, right? Where mindfulness comes into play, being mindful of what's going on in present time, not thinking about past, present, future, but acknowledging what that current is, that current, or the state of the current inside of the conductor. To experience the aspect of falling is to have that resistance of the conductor inside of the container of the matrix, so the internal versus the external, and how that friction heats us up. So we have the fire that gets us down this rabbit hole, right? The thing that illuminates the direction, that aspect, right? Like the torch to get us through these caves, but becoming our own torch to give that insight in these moments of transitionary transistor, energetic frequency matrix. Okay, so falling. So we have what, 2, 3, 4, but we're going 3, 4, 2. As far as card numbers, the unknown descent. I wonder if I shall fall right through the earth. That's what her little quote says here. The in-between, right? The end of what once was, the letting go of who you were, and rebirth into a new life. Unknown outcomes, complete immersion in the process of change. So like succumbing to that process of change is that most difficult thing, because people want to be attached and hold on to these ideologies that they have, right, of what once was before. Those are conditioned behaviors, patterns, ideas, belief systems, a combination of behavioral conditions versus verbal conditions, like that self-talk, right? That's verbal conditioning. So breaking these energetic flows and currents by instigating sudden unlocking of conceptualization through alternative modalities, external pressures, like anything, like even caffeine. We'll keep it simple. Caffeine, the pressure of caffeine, right? That energy creates a force. It gives us more of a currency, perhaps, of that energetic realm. But it's a complete immersion. So yeah, I'm completely immersed in this here, which is probably why it's coming out like it is. Alternating, sure, alternative, right? So if there's voltage and there's currency, they're measured as direct voltage, direct current, alternating voltage, alternating current. So we're kind of going back and forth between direct voltage, or being direct, and being alternating. There are direct aspects of this here, but there's a lot of alternating aspects too. Okay, I wonder what will happen next. Let's look at that part. She's sitting here contemplating, writing with her cat in the garden. There's the rabbit, the secret garden almost. Humpty Dumpty's way back there on the wall. There's a lion there, the Cheshire cat. There's a lot here. A lot of labors, a lot of layers is what I was going for. How do I want to describe this? Can you see it? Not really like the best way to show cards, maybe. Oh, atmospheric perspective is what I was trying to get at. Understanding what atmospheric perspective is. In its most simplest form, and going to this idea that things are different than what they would seem to be, without the training, perhaps, say, within the arts or understanding of like rendering or drawing, like a landscape lighting perspective, we would think that, or oftentimes, especially students, you would think that as things are further away, they get darker, and as things are closer, they're lighter. But as it comes to atmospheric perspective, the further things are away, the lighter they are, and the closer the things are to us, the darker they are. And so coming to that understanding that, because we would think in our mind's eye to draw something, it would be a certain way. Something about inverting things here. Ready to adventure, precipice of change, pause before action. That interstitial space, that inner in-between space, between here and there, that transition, transformation, trans. I looked up the word trans the other day as far as definition, or the prefix. And I'm interested in the prefix as it relates to transllumination, right, or homo transluminous. Right, the reflection across, beyond, through, on the other side of, transmit, transform, translucent, even allowing light to pass through but not detailed shape, so something that's not necessarily detailed. Again, specific context come into mind. It's a very versatile prefix. Transfer, to move something from one place or another. Transmit, to send or convey something across a distance. Transform, to change something thoroughly or completely. I think that's the aspect of this. Translucent part. Maybe that's kind of the thing in that distance too. I mean, it's there. There's a concept of it. It's just not clear yet. And that's okay, it doesn't have to be. There are pressures that say you have to know exactly what it is, but that doesn't make any sense in the long run. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank and of having nothing to do. Once or twice she had peeked out into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversations in it. And what is the use of a book, thought Alice, without pictures or conversations? I'm gonna take that almost literally in this realm of like, what good is this like book writing, whatever. I have so many. I have so many journals that I have so much that I've written. I'm trying to synthesize and contextualize all of this into something cohesive or into one element. I don't know, like what good is it without the pictures or without the conversations? What good is creating the thing without this opportunity here to disseminate the information, to convey the information, conduct the information? I'm a conductor and we're channeling energy and then it's here to flow. It's not something that has to be reserved, right? It's all about the process, talking about that process and that in-between space and that energetic discomfort space, the gray area. People either want to be on the black, white, positive, negative, on either end of whatever spectrum here or there. They want to have been arrived past, future, but being in that, this presence, current, energetic, flowy, and intangible, meta, quantum, physical, it's the ultimate experience of creative possibilities or electric potential difference. Is that how we're getting into voltage? Electric potential difference. Let's veer this way over here and kind of go back into collective stuff, because I do wonder what will happen next. A longing for excitement, wonder at what is meant to take place, someone who is comfortable but vaguely dissatisfied. Be ready for a challenge and for new experiences. Yeah. Something in the discontentness, feeling and enoughness. Limitless possibilityness, expansionness, evolution, right? That's ultimately what we're talking about, evolving, changing. We can't, oh, okay, here's one for you. Here's a belief I have for you. We don't have choices. We don't make choices, we make changes. We don't make choices, we make changes. I'm gonna make a change, sort of like I'm gonna make a choice. I'm gonna choose to do something. I'm gonna change doing something. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna make a change. That's important, how you use your words and being very specific about it. Creative word usage, because it's not going to be the same. It's going to be different, which again keeps bringing me back to yesterday's notes and yesterday's points. I'll just read it to you as I have it out of the book. Because yesterday in this morning meditation space, it starts out, such a curious dream. God, my dreams have been so weird lately. And I have these periods of just very intense, very odd, strange dreams that are often illuminating or cueing things into the future, they're not always literal. I definitely have to decode and decipher a lot of these things in order to make sense of them, or they don't make sense until the things are happening or have happened. Some of them premonitory, yes. Some of them very deja vu-esque. Some of them very much feels like going into other realms, world dimensions, something like that, doing work and then coming back and then grounding the energy into this matrix body, or somehow going between matrices into different conduits in order to disseminate energetic information, emotional information. I don't know, that feels real. Again, it's a concept. It's something that's introduced into the mind for creative play, understanding, building, creating the world. As an artist, a writer, a performance artist, actor, poet, whatever, all the things, the model, whatever under the sun. A prolific expressionist. It's gonna come out like this. I don't know what else to tell you. It's a generalization of all the things noted and taken in, nothing personal in any regard. Although I think there are pieces and parts in there where people can, again, tap into or access certain bits of information that could be useful in the long run. Does that make sense? I think it does. Again, for prefixes for the context before going into this space, usage in different contexts, again, because we're talking about this in regards to different contexts. So when information is taken out of context and is used against you or used in a way to confuse or misinterpret or misalign the energetic information, it's discord. It's a lack of harmony. It's only discord is what is created there in that space. Discordance. And again, it's something it's felt. It's something that's felt as discomfort. So how that energy is discharged is something to be mindful of, aware of, or to condition yourself to have control over, or to just be in conscious action over, if that makes more sense. So in this Alice in Wonderland Oracle deck that we're exploring at the moment, number 20 from yesterday's morning meditation, I mean, it came out too, but as my first card, but I put it back in the deck, I guess. That's fine. No need to fear. Remember how powerful you are. No need to fear. Okay, don't come into this with fear. It's fine. There's excitement, yes, or there's just a lot of energy to disseminate. So it's like opening the valves. It'll temper out here in a minute. There's just a lot that's been building up for a while. So that's fine. That's fine too. Okay. Keep your temper, and I think I'm taking my time with this because there's a lot packed into this theme and this topic of anger, collectively and personally. I'm just trying to stay focused. Is it necessary to share background information? No. Okay, it's fine. Don't allow anger to rule you. Confronted with so much strangeness and changing leads to impatience. That's the point I was trying to make earlier. When we are thrown this way and that way by life, uncertain of what will happen next, and there are no straight answers to our questions, our tempers can begin to fray about the edges. That's that alternating thing, right? If things are alternating over here and then over there, over here and then over there, and there's always that happening. I don't know, I think about it like batteries. they wear down. It just wears out. Whereas if something is more direct and straightforward and clear, it can last longer. If it's alternating, something about an alternator. I don't. Maybe that's worth looking into. Excuse me a second. Let's go back to this. I'll finish this, and then we'll go to alternator. When we are thrown this way and that, Okay. Growing angry with them would serve no purpose at all, except to make you more lost and isolated than ever. And I think this is why some people use anger as a tool to try to piss people off or try to make people mad, is to disorient them. It's to disconnect them. Like a poison, right? I also have here noted being pushed, which is interesting because when we're talking about energetics, energy transformation, and we're talking about voltage, as far as, I mean, if you look at what is an energy transformer, basically energy transformation, you get voltage and currency when you're talking about energetics, right? What does a transformer do? It manages, basically, or is a container for voltage and current to cohabitate, maybe coexist, cohabitate. Again, humans looking for their silly control. But that voltage is force. It's pushing, right? It's a pushing force. Voltage is a pushing force. So if you're being pushed, if somebody is amping you up, getting those volts up, or pushing their volts at you, right? It can be very frustrating. This is talking about evasive companions, bothersome circumstances, having to stay cool through all of that. It's very difficult. That's where that detached compassion comes in. In a lot of my videos or whatever, there's that conversation about detached compassion as opposed to unconditional love, or maybe something to let's not oppose them. Let's sandwich them together into you can't have one without the other. Peanut butter and jelly, salt and pepper, that kind of thing. Can't have detached compassion without unconditional love. You can't have unconditional love without detached compassion. That feels real, right, and true as well. Oof. Stepping into transformation is very difficult. I have on here from yesterday 2 choices. I just have funny thoughts about choices. Choices going in with creativity. That's not important for right now. Should we go back to, am I missing anything here? I don't think there's anything in that bit. We went into following, we went into what will happen next. Down this white rabbit hole, use your time well. Make every moment count. Let's being in that present time as opposed to that past or that future thinking. That's that depression and that anxiety thinking. Let's see, what do we have to say about using our time well? One of the rules I live by that I have tattooed on me is have courage to use your own reason. I'm not here to tell you how to use your time well. Nobody's going to tell you how to use your time well. People are going to give you their opinions and their advice and their unsolicited whatnots. But But at the core of truth in being in that body, right, in that, there's a knowing, there's an understanding, there's a measurable frequency, brainwave frequencies, right, that can show us states of mind, like dream states, meditation states. There's these visceral things outside of words that can describe truth, for lack of a better word, God, light, the primordial. That truth in knowing, that instantaneous, the intuitive, and like, okay, so like in perception, we have our primary visuals and our secondary visuals. Our primary is in the eyeball, the secondary happens within the brain, right, at the back of the brain. And so when it comes to perception, right, our eyeballs are taking in information in that present time, but by the time it takes for our eyeball to take that information and to get it back into our brain, for our brain to even comprehend and make sense of what it is that the eyeball is even perceiving, there's a delay, there's a time delay. So anything that we are seeing or perceiving is something that has already happened. I think you might do something better with the time, she said, than wasting it in asking riddles that have no answers. Okay, there's just not an answer to this. We can sit here all day long trying to figure out or whatever, disseminate the meaning of life. 42 reduces to a 6. 6 is the heart, love, compassion. It's an energetic frequency. It's a energy. It's pure energy. Pure energy as it exists outside of the conduit of the meat suit, or the conductor, right? What does that conductor do? Alternators. Alternating. That's a lot of information about alternators. An electrical generator that converts mechanical energy into electrical energy in the form of alternating current. Here are some key component alternators. So an alternating current, the alternating aspects within this, taking that mechanical energy and turning it into electrical energy. So the mechanical energy, mechanics of the meat suit, of the body, of the conductor, right? And turning that body meat suit into electrical energy, which comes out in heat, words, create, like, right? It's everything that comes out of us into electrical energy, or not necessarily tangible physical things that come out of us, but those ethereal energetic things, the emotions that come out of us, that energy that people can pick up on when you walk into a room, that energy that I can pick up on when I'm coloring you with chalk pastels, right? Purpose, primarily used in vehicles to charge the battery and power the electrical system when the engine is running, to create movement, right? To get from one place to another, to make transformation happen, to get from here to there, right? All the work that goes into that movement, right? It's not just that movement happens, you're not just there and then there. We may be in a quantumly entangled dynamic, but when we're talking about getting the physical meat suit from here to there, I can't just like close my eyes and then reappear physically or rematerialize over in China. There's like the astral projecting, right, or like dream time projecting, where that energetic body can travel and move outside of that tangible physical world. Hey, right? I don't know. Use your time well. What is in the greatest good of all? What helps everybody in that context? Someone could be wasting your time by asking questions they have no interest in answering. People not listening or repeatedly asking for assistance but not heeding advice. Someone wishes to take up a great deal of your time in order to feel more important, listened to, and cared about. Set your boundaries. Asking riddles that seem to have no answer may seem like a waste of time, but sometimes it leads to discovery. Through that pressure and through that frustration, what is your impatience and anger trying to teach you, trying to show you? There's a very special diamond of an opportunity for consciousness shifting inside of that. If you can come into alignment in present time and sit within that intensity of that energy, if you can sit with it and feel it without judging it, without trying to push it away or change it or get rid of it or suppress it, it can lead to discovery. Oftentimes you're going to discover something you didn't know you could or should or would discover, which is kind of the beauty in that situation. Very humbling, to say the least. One in which you have to be void of ego, I think, in order to understand, or to have a healthy balance in that boundary of ego to understand. When we allow ourselves to ask questions that may have no discernible answer, we might find out valuable things and unearth what we truly think and believe. But there is another element to this card, is there are people who will waste your time not only asking questions that have no answers, but by deliberately asking those questions intended to take up your time, or intended to confuse you, intended to disorient you, be your own leader of discernment. I'm just going to shut this door so cat doesn't go back outside. Ooh. Too fast again. Give me a second to kind of reground in. But using your time well. I remember once, several years ago, somebody had said to me, I see your priorities are all left up. You're kidding me, right? And it's interesting how people from the outside can judge and perceive you and your life to be a waste, unworthy, bad, negative. Someone recently got mad and said something along the lines of, well, if you want to DM me anytime and have a conversation about the choices and la la la, something, like going down that road, it's just like, okay, well, there's that word choices again. There's that anger and that mentality of somehow scapegoating everything all onto me, because somehow my choices have miraculously caused all that is in the universe. That doesn't resonate with me. That's not truth. Use your time well. Are you using your time and your energy to push somebody down? Talk about that currents, right? Are you using your anger and your frustration to push somebody down? Hold somebody down and make them feel bad so you can elevate yourself up? Or are you reflecting within that anger to uncover why it is that you're even angry about something in the first place? What is that unconscious thing that is triggered within you that is in discord? What has been upset? Something in the alignment has been upset, right? and things in discord are aligned in a discordant way, right? So there's a lack of harmony. So these 7 deadly sins begin to trickle in that discord, creating more discord, right? Conducting more discord. Alternators. Ensure the output voltage remains constant regardless of the engine speed. So like mediators, right? Types of alternators: automotive alternators, industrial alternators. We're talking here about a quantum metaphysical alternator, right? That is the human meat suit. Automotive, used in cars and trucks to power the electrical system and charge the battery. Industrial, used in power plants and other industrial applications to generate electricity. Yes, I believe you can generate your own electricity. I believe this through going through like spoon bending training and being able to stick quarters and things to the walls and being able to like transfer energy. By being able to get candles to flicker, being able to get things to move, right? Like that Mind Flex game. You can never come across or find that Mind Flex game, or these games where they use the electromagnetic sensors on your brain, right? Wireless electromagnetic sensors, electromagnetic frequencies your brain is getting off that are used to control or influence maybe these alternators or something, or these things that create movement outside of the body. So with the power of your mind, you can move things external to yourself. Came across that Mindflex game doing research with autistic children, and the kids on the autism spectrum, when they get these games on, they're like, they're so good at them. They're so good at this. While I'm just using my mind I'm using my electromagnetic whatever, I'm using my electromagnetics to do it. How is this difficult for you neurotypical people to understand? They don't have a grasp or a concept, right? Yes, we go down the rabbit hole. What are we at, 47 minutes? Okay. We'll go maybe hour, no longer than an hour and a half. Use your time well. Maybe it's being productive, maybe it's not. Use your time well, to me, is fulfilling your life, fulfilling your experience. Through the chaos and the angst and of all of it. Just grateful, fulfilled. Knowing I can die anytime. Knowing I lived my life the way that I wanted to, with my own reason. Like being the master of my own destiny, doing the things that I love to do. Being in love. Right? The tragic romantic. Okay. Good morning. Good morning, Facebook world. Yes, I am transitioning all of this stuff onto YouTube. Yes, that stuff has been happening. All the material parts and pieces are falling into place, and everything is aligning, and the part that is catching up to it all is this internal shift that's happening, and it's an energetic frequency thing. Not sure how to explain it, but I think you can feel it. Should be knowing for a long time. But it's one of those things where we can kind of play in the sensation of it all, right? Like, take note of the feeling now. So if we charge it out this way, if I, does it calibrate it? Okay, let's not play here. I mean, I could, but we're gonna use our time now. Maybe this one is interesting. There are people in our lives who feel justified questioning, prying, or wasting our time. Those are the ones that frustrate me the most, are the ones that justify wasting time. Time itself is the matrix, right? Something I heard this morning. So if we're talking about hello inverted brain, time itself is the matrix. It's the box. This is the time. It's the constraint that the conductor resides in, that the body is in. And so when people come along and they feel justified in wasting that time, wasting that energy, time is energy, it's synonymous, right? Or perhaps it's a larger container in which that energetic thing can fall. I don't know, let's not complicate it too much. I have a lot of days I wish I didn't have to drop out of my PhD. But here we are. It's fine. We can still do the work. With this card comes, it is essential to create a safe space about yourself and to know what you are prepared to do, what you are prepared to withdraw from, and what you will leave well alone. Trust Alice on this. There are many people in the world with questions that will simply waste your very precious and irreplaceable time. Answer only those that bring you closer to a resolution or that will lead to a greater and deeper way of experiencing the world. Some people love to feel they're important enough to take up another's time for no sound reason. Do not let them waste yours. So it's what you do with it. It's how you interpret it, right? It's how you're going to use that information, what you're going to do with it. I can share with you information. I can, about me, about my feelings. When this happens, this is what I'm feeling. It is up to you to take that information that I gave you about this and how it makes me feel, to do something with it or not. Right? There's an energetic exchange there. There's an energetic, and it's just energy. It's a pressure. And how that energy is received or interpreted I don't know what, there's your relationship dynamic right there. There's that age-old recipe for mediation, couples counseling, marriage and family therapy. Something about marriage and family therapy just makes me laugh. It's a laughable profession to me. It's a laughable field of psychology to me. Why? Does it help people? Sure. Does it not help people? Sure. It's a very limited construct. That leaves out something much deeper. Back to that primordial soup. Back to that, the sacred. You can have a holistic practitioner that can incorporate a lot of these things, sure. Does somebody with a label or a title of this sort of thing say anything or speak anything about what I'm talking about? No. Specific to the field, to the practice, to the, I guess, the general heuristic or how that is all applied. I'm an integral practitioner, holistic lens looker, througher. So, yeah, some of these ideas will be fairly strange. Do we have anything here else? This is one, I think, I'll read the reverse side of this card too, because I think this is one that I've gotten really good at when it comes to boundaries. And maybe even in this space. And one thing I'm very grateful about in this space, within this container, because this is a safe container for me that I've created, it's an energetic space that has always fulfilled me. It's not one that has ever created any conflict for me in any sort of way, and so I'm very grateful for that to you, to anybody who participates in this, and I think it just comes through in the lack of shitty comments. There are a lot of people who view and participate and absorb and take it in, but there's not the there's no exhausting waste of energy out there. I mean, there have been a couple opportunities, I think, where I have been tested in this space to, where my energetic boundaries have been tested in this space when it comes to what kind of questions I will entertain and what kind of questions I will answer. As you can see, what I'm channeling in and tapped into is very, very specific. In the realms of its intention and its depth. Not here to entertain petty baloney. And so, again, like for one of the questions that comes to mind, somebody was like, oh, you know, does this boy like me? It's such an inappropriate question to ask in a collective container like this. It's one that is limiting beliefs. It's one that's wasting my time. You know, like, it's not the question that needs to be asked. You know, that's not, and I can see it in the energetic field within the people that ask these kind of questions. The greater depth. I see the question that they should be asking, but they're not. And I don't want to ask that question, because that question, right, will push them. Yes, this one. Yes, there's our transition to our last card, our 11, to that change in the night. They don't want to ask that question because they don't want to make the change. They don't want to make the transformation. They don't want to get to the other side, or they don't want to be left in that in-between space. Movie was I watching the other day? I don't know the title of it. It's a very good movie based off of a true story of a team of Hispanic golfers, like the first Hispanic team of golfers. And there's this scene where they're in a major competition, but they want to celebrate, and they want to celebrate by going to Mexico and crossing the border. And they're in Texas, so it's not like it's far, right? And they talk to somebody in their hotel or their motel or whatever. Well, how do we get across? How do we go? And they point to the ferryman, the guy on the river or whatever. So they go to the river at night, and there's the ferryman on the river, on the water. And there's a rope that extends from one end of the river to the next, and there's this old man who doesn't say anything the whole time. His hands are all roped and bandaged, like his everything he do is to ferry the people across the river. And it's ironic because it reminds me of like a ferryman in hell, or like somebody ushering you into hell, or right through that oh, I can't think of the name of it, through that transitionary into that space, right? But depending on which side of the river you are on, it would imply that the other side or the opposite side would be hell. So, I don't know, hell is other people. Thanks, Starcher, for that one. So these guys, they get to this ferryman, and there's this ominous, we have to get across with this ferryman. There's the ritual, there's the silence, there's the intensity, and they go across naively to the other side where they think that they're going to be accepted or welcomed, and then they learn that they're not, and then they're chased back to the other side. But to get back to the other side, because they're being chased by car, to get back to the other side, they're yelling at the ferryman, hey ferryman, but they don't get on the platform with the ferryman to be pulled across, they just swim across this time. So, it doesn't matter really how you get people from one side to the other. I mean, if they're gonna get themselves across to the other side eventually, but you can either carry them across, I can either take you there, or you can get across on your own, otherwise, whatever. And all this happens within the night. This is talking about that change in the night, but that instantaneous, and how metaphorical, going from one side of the river back, and that change that happens from alternating from one end and going back. Because they don't come back the same, they come back changed in the night, instantaneously, through this experience of being chased by their ego, naivety, their this idea that they think that they know better than somebody else, or that they know best. Is that what that is? It's a quick change, and that quick change can be really unnerving. That quick change can be very destabilizing, and if you've never been destabilized before, if you've never been on anything rocky before, right, it can be very, let's say, nauseating, to say the least. It can be very traumatic, stressful. It's just one of those things of, like, holding on to the beam for dear life, like, oh God, it's the most terrifying thing, right? But eventually, with enough practice, you can walk across that beam. Or what was I watching? There was, and it's a game from another country that involves like a long log hanging from chains, and it's swinging, and the idea is you have to balance on the log as it swings, right? And it's so funny watching people trying to balance on this log thing as it's swinging, as it's going back and forth, because they're trying to keep their balance. People are staying on as long as they can, and then they're falling off left and right. And then there's this one guy who is the most poised, balanced, calm, peaceful, elegant thing I've ever seen. Where he's on this long pole, and he's just got like this hop, skip, whatever, something, whatever, and he's staying like poignant right in the middle, and he's just got this little bob, but he is so in alignment with this thing, like it doesn't even faze him. Like, he's figured out the hop, skip, and the jump. He's figured out the timing, right? He's got that energetic current flowing. I mean, he is on it. What does that have to do with change? The balance, getting from one state of mind to the next, getting from the perpetual state of falling off, oh me, oh my, the drama, and getting to that point of peace. I don't want to go into the trauma, but to be unfazed by the pushing, unfazed by the pressure. Ki comes to mind. Qigong. Using these energetic matrices, right, to dispel anything before it can even come to the body. You know, extending the concept of what that conduit is to go beyond the physical meat suit into the energetic field that surrounds it, into that electromagnetic field, that bubble surrounding that meat suit, right? It's more than just this. Our energetic bodies extend outside of that through heat, really, right? Heat is a good indicator of it. You can feel the heat of somebody's body before you even touch them, right? Dear, how queer everything is today, and yesterday things went on just as usual. I wonder if I've been changed in the night. Sometimes we change slowly, a little change here, a small adjustment there, tiny shifts day by day, and over time we grow into very different versions of ourselves, or a very different version of ourselves. But at other times we feel like we've been changed in the night. Our day might suddenly, without any warning at all, be very queer indeed. For Alice, and perhaps for you when you receive this card, there's a sense that so very much has changed in an instant, that the world has quite suddenly been turned upside down or right side up. We have not had a moment to grow used to this new reality, the way we are now, or the way we are, or the rules of the world we find ourselves inhabiting. When a time like this comes, we can be in shock, a little numb, and have trouble finding our way back to the center of ourselves. If you feel you may have been changed in the night, that your life has changed quite dramatically, quite suddenly, then take a moment. Remember your values, your feelings, yourself. Look about you, steady yourself, and breathe in deep. This is mindfulness practice. You've been rocked in your sense of self and of reality. It's going to take a little time to resettle. Okay, so there's something about transformation. It's not always a subtle thing. Okay, so when a transformation occurs, boom, instant transformation. There's that adjustment period that comes after it. Do I feel like I'm in an adjustment period? Oh yeah. There's been like transformation, adjust, transformation, adjust, transformation, adjust, transformation, adjust, transformation, adjust. And now it's like transformation, adjust. Where it's taking and embodying all the previous transformations I've gone through before, turning it all into one greater, bigger transformation that I am now processing and adjusting to and trying to, that I'm adapting to. Continue to connect with your core self. I'm going to say with your core belief, with your core self. That's soul, higher purpose, higher self. Maybe it's that energetic being that transcends from lifetime to lifetime, that's reborn. Some fragmented aspect of a larger grade of collective consciousness, or something that transcends lifetimes, or transcends time, maybe, or that time matrix. Just a thought. Continue to connect with your core self. Be good to you and take it easy but steadily. Slow and steady wins the race. This is down the rabbit hole. This is not a hare's race. Tortoises also live in holes. They burrow. Moles burrow. There are a lot of animals that burrow, that go underground, that submerge, that go underneath. Until this moment, you only knew who you could be when faced with certain predictable circumstances. Now you can't predict the circumstances. You can't predict the circumstances, and you don't know who you're going to be. A lot of people are going to resist that aspect, and they're going to resist by fighting, projecting, and saying, "Ah, you lie!" Like those kind of whatever. Um, it's a challenge to, in this culture, it's a challenge in our current culture to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Yes and no. That's kind of depending on how you want to interpret that. Until this moment, you only knew who you could be when faced with certain predictable circumstances. So if you're faced with other predictable circumstances, or if you're faced with something you've never gone through before, something unpredictable will come out. That's that surprise. That's that thing that you'll learn about. Now that so much has changed, you will find out so much more about yourself, and in time this will enrich you so very much. Sudden unexpected change, a shock, unexpected news, adjusting to a situation, finding out more about who you are, and experience uncertainty, an identity crisis due to changing circumstances. And this is the part that frustrates the hell out of me with other people who are judgmental, because they're like, oh, well, you chose that, your choices led to this, or like, okay, again, there are so many forces in the external world outside of us. Trillions upon trillions upon trillions upon giga whatever illions out there of external stimuli exerting force down upon us. And to have such an ego to think that my choice, I chose to do something, is so fucking ignorant of the external environment around you, because the external environment around you is conditioning your choices and what it is you're choosing to do. And I think more often than not, these experiences in life that shape us are things that are so far outside of our control and outside of our choice that it isn't about choice. It has nothing fucking to do with choice. Okay? The people right now in the world who are experiencing war, somebody somewhere along the line decided, let's go to war, let's go to war, but the millions and millions and millions of people that are affected by somebody's choice, did you choose to get yourself into this situation where your whole, like, family was blown apart and you lost your... Is that your choice? Did you choose to get raped? Did you choose, like... You can come to me and be like, you chose to have these shitty experiences. Like, don't come to me like that. There's so many destructive forces in the world that are putting us into this state of survival. There's so many unexpected and unforeseeable circumstances that shape us as humanity. To be so ignorant and so fucking egocentric to think that any human chose this? This is collective. This is a collective expression of something that we have no fucking clue what it is. We don't know how any of this works. We don't know what consciousness is. We don't even know what reality is. Science has gotten us to this point where it's like, everything is a dream, it's not real, it's all a figment of our imagination, so don't come to me. You're like, you chose to have these shitty situations, or the choices you made led to these situations in your life. Fuck you. Okay? Come to me and let's have a conversation, right? Who's going to show up in my DM to have a conversation about these quick changing things? Let's have a conversation about choice and what choice really is. Let's get beyond these preconceived notions of what we think humanity is supposed to be. Let's fucking evolve as a collective in a way that is in harmony with the world around us, that is in harmony with nature. Let's make a collective transformation that is gonna get us out of this realm of or even this concept realm of destruction and war and violence and hate and oppression and suppression, all that just everything that everybody hates. Transformation! I go down this rabbit hole because I got a degree in transformative leadership. Let's talk about what transformation is. Changed in the night. Why are you here? Feeling you are not growing as a person, or that you have stayed the same for a very long time, you may be looking at introducing some new and exciting challenges into your life to help you grow and discover more about all the wonderful selves you have within you. Just finding the appreciation of life, fulfilling your life. We're talking about fulfilled connections, energetic fulfillment, emotional fulfillment. What fulfills you emotionally? What fulfills you energetically? If you're fulfilled, your energy will exude that. If you are not fulfilled, your energy will exude that. Look to things to fulfill yourself with. Have no fear. Believe, strange encounters. This one, forget who you are. It doesn't matter who you think you are. Conditioning falls away. Memory no longer defines you. Forget who you are, who you think you are. Believe you can become something better than you can ever imagine for yourself. You can open yourself up to the sensation of falling, that free fall feeling, and trusting that wherever you're going to land is going to be in alignment and harmony with the greater of whatever, I don't know, strange encounters. Is this one worth looking at? And then we'll close this off. We're at our time limit here. Just our closing thought. Ground that. Breathe it out. I'm gonna smudge after this too. Alright, smudge the bejesus all out of here beforehand. Call them the dog, call them the cat. I like this because this is starting out with unicorns, and if you know anything about me, I'm a unicorn writer! I write a golden unicorn. Literally. Okay. Focus, Kelsey. Believe in yourself. Do you know? I always thought unicorns were fabulous monsters too. I never saw one alive before. Well, now that we have seen each other, said the unicorn, if you'll believe in me, I'll believe in you. Is that a bargain? Meeting people who are very unlike people you have met before, mystic events and peculiar experiences, interacting with different cultures, customs, and belief systems, mystical encounters with elemental beings who interact with you, finding they are just as real as you, discovering new places, environments, even climates that are different to any you have experienced before, something unusual that is most decidedly as real as you are. Anything that is limiting you or preventing you from getting through this transformation, right? It's going to be the opposite of the belief system, as we're talking about core beliefs here. So if you have any blockages or if there's anything stopping you, refusing to accept differences, This is you trying to homogenize everything, to make everything the same, to make everything the same as you are so that you feel better, because if the world is the same as you and everything is homogenized to your liking or to your standards, then you're in control and predicting and like the almighty egotistical fucking creator of all that is, and the world revolves around you. Or accepting differences, realizing everybody is different, every perspective is different, every whatever is different, and you can never, ever, ever be inside of anybody else, whatever, seeing the things the way that they do exactly. Or maybe you can. I don't know. Say one to the empath. I mean, you might get a glimpse of it, huh? You can get a glimpse of it, but you don't live that person's life. That's not yours. That's not your space. Stay in your lane. Stay in your life. Stay in your, like, don't come over here jumping in my lane trying to tell me which way I need to drive or where. No. Okay. Feeling that your spiritual encounters or mystical visions are unreal, untrue, or fantasy. Again, this is just limiting your belief systems. If you have limited belief systems, or like, I can't be alone. Like, if you can't entertain the possibility that something might, whatever, shutting off your creative channels, you're shutting off your capacity to be innovative, you're limiting yourself, you're limiting your beliefs, you're disconnecting yourself, you're homogenizing, you're not open to anything different, right? Being open to other things that are different takes time. You gotta sit with it, you gotta understand it, you gotta feel it. They don't want to feel, do they? They want to feel the same. They want to feel homogenized. They want to feel happy. They want to feel like everyone else. They want to feel cool. They want to feel popular. Disliking being in unfamiliar places or spaces. Again, that goes back to that predictability. And I see this in people all the time. They have this opportunity to connect. Here, do this with me. I'll show you how to bend a spoon. Hold this. And they're like, there's that opportunity. They think about it. They're like, ooh, I can try. I can go down this rabbit hole and I can... And then they're like, no. Shut down. Lock that wall in here. They don't even venture to try and make that connection. That connection is severed, rejected, and cut off. They stay in their little box where they're nice and happy, and everything is all predictable, and everything is under control, and their ego can feel inflated, and finding people too different for you to really connect or engage with. That's what I'm talking about. The judging other people to be different, bad, wrong. Oh, you're just jealous. No, I'm just different. I think the people who get jealous are the people who don't accept differences. They get jealous and they want to homogenize. They want to take something from somebody else's fulfillment. They get jealous and they what a gross emotion and gross energy. I started writing something about it the other day. I should go back and finish it today. Maybe it would be worth it. Just to get it out of my this space, because it's here now. Not that it's inappropriate, but it needs its own space. A refusal or difficulty believing in the existence of elemental beings. I, in my collegiate training, am trained as a empirical research scientist with a behavioral background, a behavioral analytical background, where, show me the data. It's got to be real and it's got to, like, And so you better believe that in this practice of the strange and the unfamiliar and diving into these practices that I come at it as a researcher. I've been research certified for 6 years. Was research certified for 6 years. With gaps in between, and so like the time that I've been researching or have been a qualified researcher, that's not a small feat. This isn't ignorance. This isn't I just like pulling cards and I'm just doing woo shit for fun. This is very well thought out. This is approached with very specific intention. Yeah, this is. I'm just gonna pull one deck out of the Alice thing, and then I'm gonna close this off because I'm over it. I'm over it. Your belief systems are going to be your reality. It is not your duty to impress your beliefs upon other people. I have my beliefs. I will share what my beliefs are. You can take what you want out of those beliefs. I know they are mine. You don't have to take them. You don't have to understand them as anything other than whatever. You can infuse these or not into your own systems or whatever. It's an orienting point of orientation in this realm of transformation. Page of Peppermills. I'm gonna look at the book. Then I'm gonna close this. And I'm gonna go clear myself out. I gotta pee, I gotta smudge, I need to go sit outside for a minute. Go sit in the sun, drink some water. The basics. The sacred things that come in the very basic things, like waking up first thing in the morning and doing the dishes felt so good. Just felt good in the hands, the warmth in the hands. One of my favorite things to do in the morning. It's simple. It's a simple connection. Page of Peppermills. Okay. Please reach out to me anytime if you need reading, a private reading, book for events or whatever. I have the intention set around me that, and have, as long as I've been doing this, that people show up and arrive in perfect timing for both of us. I'm a true believer that people come to me only when they are ready and only when they need to, and when, I think, quite frankly, when they don't have other alternatives. Nino says, "What's my card?" 1 minute ago. Okay, I will pull a card for you, Nino. Let me read you Page of Pentacles, and I'll pull a card for you, Nino, since you're here. Thanks for participating. Page of Peppermills. Maybe this one resonates with you. A loyal and true person, a man who speaks well of others, an envoy, messenger, or stranger coming to help. Thank you. Thank you for your help. Intelligent, a bearer of important news, usually good. Okay. It's all good. I mean, this is all good. This is good space. It's good space, good energy, okay, so a card for you. Thanks for listening, and thank you for participating. I'm pulling it out of Alice in Wonderland Tarot. Okay. I think we got enough of the oracles in. Let me shuffle once for you, twice for you. Okay. You're anticipating something. It's okay. It's good. You're good. It's all good. It is the Hermit. Okay. It's that self-reflection, the Hermit. He's usually on top of a mountain. Interesting that it's a mouse inside of a teapot. And then in Alice in Wonderland, The mouse in the teapot at the tea party, I think, is one of my favorite characters. He can kind of go beyond the world. He's at the table, but he's not participating, right? He's his own element. He's watching. He's doing his own thing. And he's at the tea party, but he's at the table at the tea party, but he's not at the tea party. He's at the table doing his own thing at the party, right? The hermit. He's got his lights on. Eyes are closed here, so very intuitive, using his intuition, right? That fire that happens and that friction and that space that we were talking about earlier here, that friction that creates that heat, that resonance that lights us as we go down this tunnel, right? That's what you're looking for, or looking with, looking through, maybe even. Like a mole underground is really bad, or like no eyesight, right? They use their other senses. Their nose comes to mind because it has like the little flare, fingery, whatever things that are very much like the light. They illuminate, right? They sparkle like the light. That's what he's feeling his way through with. Because you can't trust your eyeballs. There's that time lapse in your eyeballs between like what your eyes see and what your brain perceives. There's a lot that happens in that cross wiring, and it's just not reliable. You have to know how to discern or disseminate or decode that information from here to really understand and make sense out of what's going on. And that comes through that hermity aspect, through that self-reflection, again, because I can't tell you, I can't show you, you know within. But to get to that truth and that understanding and to that feeling of the self, you have to detach and disconnect from the people around you, cut out the people around you, go to somewhere quiet. It doesn't have to be in nature or in the trees. I mean, it can be just, I have coffee over here, I've got tea over here. Just finding a quiet space in the house or even at the table, like a specified teapot even, and creating the ritual, like an iron teapot comes to mind too. Finding an iron teapot, but creating a ritual with that iron teapot in a dark, quiet corner or something. Maybe there's like a window or natural lighting. That's up to you. It's your environment, your context. Sitting there with the warm water. Green tea is a good one. I'm drinking jasmine tea. I've got coffee here too, but jasmine tea, it helps to clean the body. It's a gentle cleanser for the body and it reduces inflammation. So finding a way to tap in, water can show you, but creating the habit of the ritual to cleanse the energy, to ground into that space so you're feeling like warm water is a good way to just sense the feeling, or just that sensation of drinking warm water, whether it's tea, coffee, or just warm water. Can help to bring you into that present time, to get you kind of into that internal sensation, or kind of reset, recapitulate things internally. The dormouse sits in a teapot, asleep as usual. His lantern sheds light on all. He dreams, possibly of the past, possibly of the future. He's neither young nor old, age or ageless. Most of all, he's at peace within himself. Something about that dream space too. Not having to be any one thing or anything tangible, right? How you convey that to others can be very simple, right? They're going to have a limited understanding or a limited conceptualization of what it is that you're talking about, especially if they are not watching things like this. I like pulling things in three, so I'm going to pull just kind of one more. Maybe it'll clarify that aspect there for you, or just kind of give us something to reflect on as I close this out for the day. I don't know, there's something else I wanted to talk about too, but I think I'm going to reground, recenter, and then move this over to my YouTube channel in a little bit and kind of explore the energy there. I guess I need to check my phone. Okay, let's do one more. The world. I like that. The world. The hermit in the world. Just because you're in this space doesn't mean you're disconnected from the world. Maybe that space, that dream space, that meditative space is how you connect into the world and how you can get yourself to any place in the world at any point in time. You can kind of be anywhere within that imaginative space. But again, it's collective. As above, so below. As it really relates to Nino, it relates to others as it does from their own perspective and from their own lens. I mean, we're all on our own path in our own lanes, but we're all going somewhere together as a collective, as humanity, right? I mean, like, we either evolve together or humanity becomes extinct. So the world, that which is yet in humanity to become extinct, with the possibilities of evolution from Homo sapient to Homo transluminant. As the Homo sapient will cease to exist, it will become extinct. The sapient body will become extinct, so that the luminous evolved version of the Homo creature, right, of the Homo genotype, can be evolved into its luminous light body potential. I don't know, 1372 is what comes forward as far as like years ahead, but that's just numbers. Not in this lifetime, no. So the work that you do here, it feels small. It feels like, what's the point? Like, why are we even, everything just feels kind of hopeless in some regard, but there's that primordial soup, that primordial feeling, that instinctual element to survive and to evolve, to adapt, that is driving us, all living things in the world. Tap into that primordial soup. Alice stands in one of the squares that make up the Looking Glass world. And just a side thought, because it's Alice in Wonderland, and we picture a lot of Alice in Wonderland, or there's that story of going down the literal rabbit hole, I think maybe when I'm thinking about Disney, but I'm thinking about this Alice in Wonderland show series that I watched when I was a kid. I think it was like Live Bodies. It wasn't animated. I wish I knew the name of it or whatever. Maybe somebody can help me out here. But the girl basically in her room, just on a regular basis, to connect into Wonderland or whatever, she's got this big giant mirror in her room, and she steps through the mirror. She uses that mirror as a portal in the doorway to get her into Wonderland. And she's figured out this thing. She's got that hop and the skip thing going in this kind of balance with that Wonderland world, where she can basically at will get herself from one end of the other to the next through that reflection, through self-reflection and understanding self-consciousness and having a good understanding of what that self is, and being able to step into the self, through the glass, to get into that Wonderland, into that realm of imagination, into this realm of creation that we're talking about. So into the greater world, the world of worlds, right? Only a few steps remain in Alice's adventures, and then she becomes the White Queen. The symbolism is that of completion, of having the world put into proper order, of things going the way that they should. The goal to which all other cards have led: perfection, Eden, fulfillment. This is the path to fulfillment. This is the path to fulfillment. I can get you there. You can get yourself there. You don't need me, but I am here. The end of the path to wisdom, spirit, and life, everlasting, a pleasant outcome. In some cases, what might be if other warnings are obeyed. High magic. If there's any shortcomings, falling short of a goal, or any disappointment, it's just holding that back, or maybe just not having that courage to step through that glass. Maybe. Okay, I'm done. I'm done here for today. Reach out to me if you want. If you feel so called to go onto Venmo or whatever and leave tips, you can. Sweet Unicorn, maybe I'll put the links or something in the comment feed. I don't know, or ask or figure out, whatever. It's an energetic exchange. You can do with that what you will, what you must. Thank you again for showing up in this space. I really am grateful for the people who do show up here and the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of views that these things get when they do pop up. I haven't been consistent. I'm gonna not apologize for that because I am in this transformative space, and for those of you who are sticking around through all of this, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all your love and support and all of that kind of stuff. Maybe see you tomorrow, or I don't know, next week. I'm not sure. We're gonna do another one of these. Will it happen again? Maybe. I don't know if I do anything on YouTube. I'll post it up either here, whatever, later too. But thanks. Have a good day. Bye.